All right, guys, we were supposed to start recording at 6:30. We're doing another episode quickly. It's 8:54 p.m.
We took a good
Daniel's
break.
had his, yeah, Daniel had some scrambled eggs.
And apple
Alex
cider.
and I talked about Formula One for like 20 minutes.
Alex Albon. How about that guy?
Oh, what a terrible!
Sorry.
Daniel, did you see the last race? Did you?
Yes.
Okay, then I was gonna say, if you're this happy talking about him, you did not watch the Eiffel Grand Prix. But this is a hockey podcast, damn it. We're recording this immediately after the last episode, which Daniel, don't let us forget. We need your help coming up with an episode name for last episode because we haven't figured it out yet.
Okay.
We think we haven't figured it out for this episode. We'll start the episode talking about the Leafs. We talked about Montreal last episode, and to start, we teased it. Guys, the Armenian army starts. Alex,
No.
I'm gonna let you announce what this first signing for. They've done a few things here, but
They done some few good things here. I called it back as soon as they got eliminated, I think.
I have our trade stuff if we want to look at it later and see how we all did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I said that this team needs Zach Bogosian, and they have signed Zach Bogosian. 1 year, $1 million. I'm in the works right now. I said it. I made a promise to all three of you, to you two and Mike. I said, if Zach Bogosian signs with the Toronto Maple Leafs, I will buy his jersey. I'm in the works of getting that jersey right now. As soon as I find out his number. If you run the Toronto Maple Leafs Twitter account and listen to this show, just check your DMs. I might have sent you one to find out what number he is.
Real Sports right now, 20% off.
I saw that. I saw that. His number on there is 22, but I haven't seen it anywhere else. So I just wanted to double check. So if anyone has any inside sources, throw it our way. I really like that signing.
Mm-hmm.
Other than he's Armenian, he's just really he's gritty. Mm-hmm. Not the mascot. That guy punched a kid in the face. That's not cool.
Allegedly.
Sorry.
Hit in the back of the head.
Allegedly hit a kid in the back of the head.
We can't get sued. All right, we don't have enough.
I'm sorry. Allegedly.
Daniel, how do you feel about Bogo for Norris being on the team?
You know, that guy's Instagram. Yeah, I like it. Right hand shot. He's a guy that it's the same thing that we talked about. Like, he's the kind of guy where, he really rejuvenated himself. And I think at the perfect time where he is right now, 29, 30, where he's showing that there's so much more he could kind of do. I think he's kind of reinvented himself when Tampa gave him that chance. In Buffalo, everybody wrote him off. And then suddenly the Lightning take him up and they showed you're just not using him properly. And I think he's coming into a lineup now in Toronto where they know how to use him properly. They know how to win, I think, and they know how to really kind of, have this culture around it that, this is a team we're in it. And I think that just kind of shows that, bringing him in on this deal and allegedly on, I think it was Pierre LeBrun who talked about it, where he accepted less money to come to Toronto because he just liked the fit.
I love to hear that. Players who want to play in Toronto or play for their team. Just before, I don't know exactly where you're going at, but he kind of confirmed that there was going to be a meeting between him and Dubas back in February. He confirmed it on Hockey Central today, but he said they pulled out. Obviously, this was after David Ayres, that whole mumbo jumbo. I was a little upset after that, but yeah,
Black Friday.
It was my worst nightmare.
Yeah.
The only good thing that came out of it is I somehow got on Live Laugh Leafs. That was the only good part. That was it.
Hey, Mike Stevens, how are you? Question for both of you. I'll start with Daniel, because Alex and I did talk about it before, so I know what he's going to say. But first, Daniel, where does Bogosian play, and why is it with Morgan Riley? Just kidding. Where do you see him fitting in the lineup?
I think he's a guy that, he's probably going to go. This is my opinion. I think he is going to jump over Justin Hall on the depth chart. Yes, I think it's just. Great.
Are you
I like-
about to say he's gonna play with Jake Muzzin?
I think that'd be a great fit, to be honest.
That's
I
a
think
lot
he
of beard.
he has a lot of experience
Oh,
playing in this league already. I think Justin Hall's an excellent player, but I just kind of feel that where you kind of put him in the top 4 doesn't really like sit well with me. And I think it's gonna happen sooner than later because the Leafs, they're going in, if they sign Travis Dermott,
Yeah.
7 capable guys for 6 spots.
right.
And that's a good problem to have.
That's good. Alex.
That is I can't even think about that. That's like more grit than the entire team has had for the last 5 years on one defensive pairing.
The Bash Brothers.
Oh my God. I didn't realize you brought it up. Zach Bogosian's 30. I did not realize he was only 30. I thought he was well into his 30s. Do you want me to kind of project what I have my defense pairs at, or you want to leave that for later?
All their other signings are forwards, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what Travis Boyd is, but
No,
okay.
center.
Then yeah, might as well. Yeah. Go
Okay.
ahead. What do you got?
So
Do you have it written down?
no, I have it in my head.
He's written down in his mind.
Okay, I was gonna turn that into a plug for the YouTube if we have it.
Oh, well, you can. Sorry, I've been thinking about it all day, and it's been changing every hour because I can't figure out. I've been thinking nonstop because I've heard multiple people, like multiple trusted people I trust, talk about Zach Bogosian playing with Morgan Riley, and I don't know if I like it. Maybe because I have this really poor mindset of Zach Bogosian, but. I was listening to Live Laugh Leafs. Justin Cuthbert was talking about it and saying, well, he was one of the guys who was not in the bubble, but in the arena watching the games. And he said, watching Zach Bogosian play, it looks like he can actually complement Morgan Riley the most based on how he played with Victor Hedman. And I know what you're going to say. Victor Hedman's not Morgan Riley. I know. But Zach Bogosian when he played with Victor Hedman, let Hedman kind of roam free and do his thing. And Morgan Riley looked best playing next to Ron Hainsey, who let him do his thing. And I'm talking myself into Zach Bogosian playing with Morgan Riley. And I don't know if I like it.
Well, finish. Okay, then go through the rest of your defensive pairings, and then Dale and I will have a little peek.
So if my first pairing is Riley and Bogosian, my second pair is Muzzin Brody. My third pair. Sorry, my third pair is Lettinen Dermott, and then you have Justin Hall as your 7. I know, but because they said Dubas came out and said Dermott is going to play on the right side, or they're going to try it, like actually try it, not rumored. That's what right. So finally, I've heard, listen, I trust Chris Johnson. I trust him with my deepest. Well, I wouldn't trust him because he'd probably leak it. I trust in what he says. He's a hockey insider. I wouldn't trust him with my deepest, darkest secret. It's just true. I didn't think about it before I said it. I trust him when it comes to hockey and not. Like when he said something about hockey, I trust him, right? Adam's never gonna get over it.
What happened? What happens to Rasmus Sandeen?
He probably starts in the AHL.
All right, Daniel, say what you want. I need to get some data right.
All right. Yeah, I kind of agree with it too. Just I think as much as I've said again, I like Justin Hall. I think he's just been overvalued a bit on this team because he plays the right side. It just with what they have now and what they could kind of work with, I think he gets squeezed out at this point. He's a guy has the least experience in the NHL. He's someone that, a great story. He kind of worked his way up being a university guy and then making it for Toronto after the Blackhawks didn't sign him as a prospect. But at this point, I think you're gonna have to go with who is your best six, and I think that there it is. What Alex said, like it's just right there now. Like Mikko Lehtinen was, this is a guy that he was pretty hyped up coming out of Europe. That you're not gonna make him your seventh defenseman.
No, the reason I brought up CJ is that he was on SD the last or second last. I guess by the time this comes out, second last because they just came out with one. But talking about Mikko Lehtinen and how like his trusted guys in Europe really value Mikko Lehtinen. Mm-hmm. So I do think Mikko Lehtinen's gonna be in the starting, like in the top six. I don't think that's necessarily a question. I think that, and I didn't get to say it before, I think the team goes with 7 defensemen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's the worst thing. I mean, there could be.
They can do it.
I wonder if you maybe you scratch a Spezza or a Simmons because of the condensed schedule. Nothing against their play. And I'd like to see more 7 defensemen. Like Tampa did it a few times in the playoffs.
I think they did it a lot during the playoffs.
And Lehtinen, by the way, I think he was just named Defenseman of the Week as well, right? In the KHL.
I believe he has 13 points in 8 games.
Jesus. And I know people will say, well, the KHL. And I've read the same things, Alex. All these guys legitimately saying he is a top 4 defenseman. And a lot of people are going to say Soshnikov and that. But I mean, guys, the KHL is the second best league in the world. I mean, look at how big Radulov has been for the Dallas Stars, right? I mean,
yeah,
he is real. I wanted Montreal to get him really badly, and you bastards took him.
I don't think it's the same. Like what I've heard about Lehtinen isn't the same. What I heard about Ilya Mikheyev is not what the same I heard about Igor Ozhiganov is not what I heard about Nikita Soshnikov. Mm-hmm. Like this isn't a random Russian player hopping overseas.
Daniel, anything to say about Lehtinen on your end?
I'm pretty hyped, to be honest. I think that, it gives them a lot of time now to see what they want with Rasmus Sandeen. They don't have to really rush the kid anymore. I don't think they were. I think he really did earn the call-ups he got.
Mm-hmm.
But, this is a guy that he wants to play. He is the best when it comes to the increased role that they don't have to thrust him in anywhere anymore. But at the same time, too, that's such a great added insurance for Toronto. Like, worst comes to worst, if someone goes down, like no problem. They have that proven replacement in the system already.
If Martin Marincin has to touch NHL ice, something is seriously wrong.
There is something I'm just that's going through my head right now is we're talking about maybe Dermott not making it. Shall we spare a thought for Timothy Liljegren?
Yeah.
We love you, dude, but
I want him to make the NHL so bad, man.
Though we'll go to another signing by the Leafs. Jimmy Vesey, 1 year, $900,000.
They finally did it.
They got it.
We won.
Yes.
We won the Jimmy Vesey sweepstakes.
So for those of you who don't know, Jimmy Vesey was a big name coming out of college hockey a few years ago. And it was the biggest freaking deal in the world, I remember. Who was going to win the Vesey sweepstakes? And he came into New York, and he's not a terrible NHLer. He is a very good depth player. But man, and that's what the Leafs are getting. But we joke about the sweepstakes, and there was the joke, obviously, of you trade Nylander if you get Vesey. I know they have both, but man, I mean, Jimmy freaking Vesey, man. I mean, take it away, Alex. Again, this is a nice, cheap depth option.
I get I think I don't really want to mix him in, but we're going to do it anyways. Him and Travis Boyd, who's a center, who again, these are kind of, I think, you lose Janssen and Kapanen, and we'll get to the Janssen trade. I think these are real depth pieces. I don't necessarily I could see Jimmy Vesey playing on the third line. I do see him more as a fourth line guy at the moment. If he impresses, I can see him. I don't even listen, you know what name we haven't talked about, or at least I haven't thought about it in a while? Pierre Engvall. Where's that guy slotting in the lineup? We're just assuming he's going to be the more we think about it, the less it seems Nick Robertson's going to be a full-time NHLer. So maybe Pierre Engvall slots in that third line left wing role. And if Jimmy Vesey impresses, let's move that guy up. So I think Vesey is more of an NHLer than Travis Boyd is, but at the end of the day, they're both depth pieces. Yeah.
Daniel.
Yeah, I was kind of, I don't know, I've always kind of had second thoughts, or, you know, I'm a bit more reserved when it comes to, like, you know, these lower picked NCAA standouts, because the way I kind of see it is that you just never really know what's going to happen. Like, I remember when Danny DeKaiser was really hyped up as being an undrafted guy coming out of Michigan, and then, you know, he's become solid for the Red Wings, but, you know, he's not Nicholas Lidstrom. But at the same time too, like, you know, we've looked at the NCAA products before, like, you know, Adam Fox, Dante Fabro, this last year, they've really kind of shown it. I think it's just with Jimmy Vesey, it's the same thing that happened with Justin Schultz, that you hype this guy up who played 4 years of university, decides not to sign with the team that drafts him, and the expectations are just way too high. And I think that's what burned him. Mm-hmm. I think he's still going to be a great player. It was a very solid depth signing for the Leafs, but I think I think it's just coming out of the sweepstakes, what they had before and what they actually have in him now has really put things into a lot of perspective of, you know, where did it kind of go wrong? Was it the development? Because the skill is there. I don't know what kind of happened with him in New York.
Hey, if there's a team that could probably unlock a player's skill, maybe help them put it together. I mean, VC, if there's an injury or two and he can move up, he could really help out. Do you guys want to move on from VC or anything else to say?
No, nothing else. Depth guy. Interesting.
Yeah, sweet. And he's cheap. Which
exactly.
Is everyone needs that right now. Even though, I mean, nothing. I'm going to bring that up later. Never mind. Another signing, a depth signing, a third goalie signing. Even though I think Kasky Swole deserves a shot. Damn it. But Aaron Dell, former goalie of the San Jose Sharks, signs in Toronto for a year, $800,000. Guys, I just like Kasky Swole. He's funny.
He went to, I don't know if you saw, he signed in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Kasky Swole?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
When did this happen?
Yesterday, I think.
Yeah, when he thanked the Marlies for 4 years.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know?
I didn't know Gustafsson had signed with Chicago until I looked to the notes today. My apology. I did not know that. Yeah.
He signed yesterday or 2 days ago.
Wait, did you mean Gustafsson with Philadelphia?
Eric Gustafsson.
Who did I say he went to? Yeah, Eric Gustafsson.
Chicago.
No, he went to Philadelphia.
No, I know, but Adam said Chicago.
Oh, it's okay. Whatever.
Okay, yeah.
I'll remind you, it's 9 p.m.
Yeah. Whatever. It's interesting. It's a good third guy, right? Like, I think that's kind of what he is for this team. Like, I don't really think he's battling for the backup spot. I think the team's very content with Jack Campbell as a backup. I think that's kind of why they got him. And, you know, where they really struggled last year is, you know, I believe Freddie went down for some period of time and they were stuck with Campbell. I think was in the organization and Michael Hutchinson.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Michael. Like, it's just not. Listen, he's a great guy, but
your cousin Matthew's also a really nice guy, by the way, Michael. Really nice guy, actually.
I bet they're great. It's just it didn't work out in Toronto,
and it didn't really work out in Colorado.
It was okay for like that one game,
I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I think he's a much better option in my opinion than Michael Hutchinson. And I think, you know, he doesn't have a whole lot of NHL experience. I believe he's played 100 games. But for, you know, Joseph Wall and Ian Scott, I think this guy could be a good mentor. Mm-hmm. He spent most of his time Like he spent the last 4 years being a backup to Martin Jones.
So he'll be used to maybe high scoring chances against because San Jose are terrible.
I guess so. Yeah.
Brent Burns.
Yeah.
Daniel. He's not a vet, not a lot of games, but yeah. As Alex is saying here, but there are worse options for a third goalie.
Yeah, definitely. Like I like that NHL experience he had. I think, to be honest, he was a bit misplaced with the amount of games the Sharks were giving him when Martin Jones struggled.
Yeah.
But where he is right now, where he's not really going to challenge Jack Campbell or anything, he is a great insurance policy to have. And he's someone that, you could probably keep around beyond this year to see, what they kind of have in him or how they want to kind of use him. But like, I really see this guy as playing like a few games here and there if needed.
You know what could be worse? You can have Mike Smith as your backup goalie.
No.
We will get that. We will get to Edmonton later.
Sorry, I just meant to say that.
Oh, that was bad. They really swung and missed with Markstrom. And then Smith took him to the cleaners. Anyway, we'll get to signings in a second. I think you know what? Let's just finish with Travis Boyd now. Then we'll get to Johnson.
I don't have much to say about Travis Boyd. Like he's a depth guy. I don't really see him touching NHL ice just because I don't necessarily think the Leafs are done making moves.
Daniel, do you have anything to say about Travis Boyd?
Same thing too. Insurance policy that he'll play meaningful minutes on the Marlies, but he'll be called up if something happens. He'll be like Nick Payton 2.0.
Thank God. Okay, then good. A beloved Toronto Maple Leafs unfortunately had to be dealt because of cap situations. That was the Mango.
Yeah.
Andreas Johnsson gets dealt to the New Jersey Devils. A nice pickup for the Devils if Johnsson can stay healthy in exchange for Joey Anderson. And Alex, I'll throw it to you here first because last episode you mentioned about Rachel Dory talking about him. Of course, she used to work for the Devils. She knows what she's talking about. Let's tackle first, what are the Leafs getting in a guy like Joey Anderson? And then after that, we can maybe just reflect on Johnsson. So, Joey Anderson.
From what I've read, they first saw him as the Blake Coleman type guy. And the more than, and now I've been reading, maybe he can look to be in the style of play of Zach Hyman. Which, listen, I think the Leafs need a guy like that. Like another guy like that, especially with Zach Hyman entering the last year of his contract. We don't really know what the future of Hyman is with this team. I really do hope they can re-sign him. It's just cap reality at this point, guys. But we'll see. I think from the Leafs perspective, I think at this point, no matter what trade they made, it was going to be that they were getting pennies on the dollar. Unfortunately, like you just look at what's going on around the league. We talked about last episode, Schmidt, Nudi Vara, Stastny, like they weren't going for market value. And I'm going to commend Kyle Dubas for making the Kapanen trade before the draft when things seemed to absolutely go haywire. Getting a first round pick for Kapanen was, I think, a very good move on Kyle Dubas's part. I wish he moved Johnsson at that time too. Maybe the market wasn't there, whatever the case may be. I think they had to get rid of that salary. Like it was just the reality.
Daniel, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think getting something of value of Joey Anderson. I've been pretty familiar with his play.
Did he play in the World Juniors?
Yes, him and his brother Mikey Anderson, but they played for the United States. Yes, I remember like that game was kind of on display where it was a bit of that gritty two-way kind of guy, high energy type of guy that it's another asset that Leafs could get. He's only 22. He was a third round pick in 2016. It's not like you're trading pennies on the dollar. And I'm not saying that he's gonna come up right away or anything, but it's a known commodity where you could get someone that could actually contribute now than like what I think other teams were getting, where the fifth, the fourth, a low third or something, and just seeing where that goes. I think Kalupas actually went out and said, "Let me get someone that we kind of view could be, could be beneficial to the whole system right now."
Hey, Good little bit of asset management. Too bad no one is going to give him the credit. I like Dubas. I really, even as a Habs fan, God, I love Dubas. I really do. By the way, Mango, that's a good nickname. We don't have a lot of those in the NHL.
Yeah.
But Mango is a damn good nickname. And for a 7th round pick, again, that's what Janssen was. That's really, really good. And you hope he can stay healthy for New Jersey because that is a damn good player at the same time. We'll go with New Jersey a little later. They did sign Corey Crawford. Later on in the show, we'll talk about Craig Smith, Kevin LeBanc, all those type of guys. We'll look at who's still available on the free agent board because there's surprisingly some damn good quality names out there. You mentioned a little bit, Daniel, about when Dermott signs a legitimate top 6 or 7 sort of defensive core, at least, what's going on here. Before we get to Clifford and Joe Thornton and Patrick Marleau, that type of stuff, how confident right now, because as you said, Alex, the Leafs probably aren't done here. How do you guys feel about the defensive core compared to what it's been the past couple of years as it stands? And I'll start. I'm going to start with Daniel just because right now on my Zoom call, your face is already there.
Okay. Yeah, like compared to like what they kind of had in the past where they brought up certain guys that I think they were really misplaced on where they were. Like we talked about the consistency of Ron Hainsey, but that was not a long-term thing. Or Cody Ceci coming in, or like Nikita Zaitsev, like these type of guys where I think same thing what I've said before, like Justin Hall, they've been overvalued for their right hand shot. And what the Leafs kind of have now is the consistency. And this is something that, we've talked about before when we went to 31 Thoughts, is what Chris Johnson talked about, where, we were excited. I remember the enthusiasm we had, like Tyson Barrie coming in, but now I think I'm even more confident with TJ Brody being more of that responsible guy who could really anchor that right side now. And a lot of these other guys that are like, complementing the talent they already had, like I don't think it's just Morgan Riley and friends anymore. I think it's just everything is kind of working for them. And like we saw like how important Jake Muzzin was when he went down. And I think that even though everyone loves him, I still think, Kyle Dubas needs to be applauded for that trade because at the time, I was still really hung up on Carl Grundstrom, but now looking back on him, like it was worth it. Jake Muzzin was a guy that like they absolutely needed, and I didn't know it at the time.
Daniel, you're not allowed to applaud Kyle Dubas, okay? That's just not allowed. You have to be a rebel. Those are the only people. But yeah,
Alex, when he was listing the likes, when Daniel, sorry, you're here, you're not his. When Daniel was listing the likes of CC, like Zaitsev. In Jaws, when you first they met the crazy fisherman, and there's a blackboard, and he puts his nails to insult scratching. Is that what you hear when you hear some of those defensemen?
It's like the music starts playing. And it's like da-na.
Easy.
Da-na. That's what it's like. It's like, oh my God, someone's gonna bite me. I don't know. Whatever. I don't want to think about that because I think I'm the most confident in this defensive core than I've ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, Morgan Riley has a defensive partner. I think Zach Bogosian. Even if it's Zach Bogosian, I'd make the argument he is it would be his best defensive partner.
Yeah.
Better than Zaitsev, better than Ceci.
Wait. Slowly say the first name again.
Better than Zaitsev.
Nah.
Better than Ceci.
Nah.
Better than Jake Gardner. I don't know if he's better than Jake Gardner, but
Jake Gardner in Game 7s.
Ooh, Jake Gardner in Game 7s. Okay. Tyson Barrett and he's giving me nightmares. Stop it. But either it's Bogosian, whether it's Bogosian, Dermott, or Brody, like he has a competent defensive partner, which leaves Muzzin with another competent defensive partner. Everyone's really high on Mikko Lehtinen. Justin Hall, okay, maybe he's not $2 million, but he is still a competent right-hand defenseman. I take back all the bad things I've said about him in the early episodes. I was under the spell of Mike Babcock. That is my excuse. Right. So I think the core that they have there, and still Rasmus Sandeen waiting kind of in the wings. I'm very confident in this. I'm more confident in this decor than I was last year and 2 years ago. And Daniel's right. That Jake Muzzin move changed a lot for this team.
Mm-hmm.
It did.
So Kyle Clifford was a Leaf. Not anymore.
Yeah. Unfortunately not. Yeah. Not
he turned down a 3-year deal, and I believe the AAV was 1.5 off the top of my head.
I don't remember. I remember it was over 1 million.
Mm-hmm. Turns that deal down with the Leafs. Ends up signing in St. Louis. It's a 2-year deal, $1 million AAV.
It's a tough one. I like Kyle Clifford, right? I think he brought something to this team that no one did. I didn't see that type of snarl from Kapanen and Dermott before, like ever. And I think, Wayne Simmons coming, we're going to see more of that. Zach Bogosian on the team. We're going to see more of that snarl. But I'm thinking about it, and maybe it was best for the team to let him walk. Because I don't necessarily think the Simmons signing happens if Kyle Clifford resigns. So, yeah, I think, you know what? Maybe he wanted to test the market. I don't think anyone had any idea. We knew it was going to be a fiasco. I don't think we realized it was going to be like this.
No, it's been a hit, hasn't it, Daniel?
When you don't, I don't know, it's like you bet on yourself too much. I think with Kyle Clifford, I think it was kind of best. I got into the whole thing where, he was that gritty guy the Leafs needed, and I really wanted them to re-sign him. But, I like Jack Campbell, but, it was still a bit of a package that I still look back on where I think that where the Leafs were with it, I didn't like it too much at the time, and the fact that if he did resign, it would become a 2nd-round pick.
Yeah,
and I just don't think he was worth that.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
Well, actually, no, we'll start with Joe. There have been whispers. Well, it's always kind of been there, but now with him, he's in Switzerland right now. Joe Thornton to the Leafs? Question mark.
It's like the 5th time we've mentioned this, in a year.
Well, it was brought up the same year Patty Marleau signed that contract.
Yeah.
And it has been brought up every offseason since. If I'm giving my honest assessment, and I think Adam and I, while we were on the break, we were talking about this, I don't necessarily see the fit at the moment. Because let's think if they do the 11 forward 7D, your 4th line is Jason Spezza, Wayne Simmons, and you fit whoever the hell you want in center. You can fit Tavares, you can fit fit Matthews, you can fit whoever you want in that center position. And Wayne Simmons, do you really need, I'm thinking about this, do you really need a 4th line center for this team?
Not if you run 7D. And again, as you say, you have one of those top guys slotting in there.
Right. You don't really need that 4th line center. You can fit whoever you want there. Spezza can play. Both Spezza and Simmons can actually play on the power play. Just stick Wayne Simmons in front of the net.
Mm-hmm.
Done. That's it. That's power play 2. That's it. Right. So I don't necessarily see the fit for Joe Thornton.
Daniel.
I kind of agree. With his style of play, I still love the guy, but it's just, if you asked me this last offseason, I'd say yes, definitely go get him. But I think the Leafs have made so many great moves already to kind of address the depth at that bottom 6 that I don't see it. I don't see the fit anymore there. I think if you want that veteran leadership type of guy in your lineup already. You know, you have Jason Spezza already. I think it's just at this point with the other signings you've made, I don't know if like you are not committed to having Alex Kerfoot being in the center position, but what I kind of think is, you know, the need has already been addressed. I don't see Joe Thornton really making a meaningful contribution at the team, not because of his play, just of how crowded it is now.
I did try and make the pitch to Alex to get a Joe Thornton. Just because, man, there is no personality quite like Joe Thornton, except maybe Brent Burns. Never has this league had such a unique personality. Couldn't you? I know there was word that Tyson Barrie was going to be the type of guy that was like, if you have a bad stretch of games, that he could be like, yuck, oh, isn't this great? And I don't really think it turned out that way. Good luck in Edmonton. We'll get there in a second.
Yeah.
But I could just imagine, and it's on the ice again. I think you're going to get more out of Spezza in this stages of their careers. Like Joe Thornton's a first ballot Hall of Famer, obviously.
Yeah.
And in their primes, I take Joe Thornton over Spezza. Yeah. No offense.
No, that's fair.
But it doesn't help that Spezza was stuck in Ottawa. Sorry. But I just think of the off-ice stuff of like, wouldn't you just love to like come off of practice and there's Jumbo with his skunk beard, and it just fits because people hate Dubas, and wouldn't it just be great to annoy the hockey man of there's the beard, there's the posing for ESPN body issue. It's just Jumbo's just seems like I want to be his friend.
Adam, I'll tell you exactly what the hockey guys would say, right? Because it fits all the things that the team needs: leadership, experience, grittiness, right? He fits practically everything. You know what team he played for in juniors?
Oh yeah, he played for Sault Ste. Marie.
He played for Sault Ste. Marie. So therefore, even though Kyle Dubas, I think he might have been a child at the time, because that's how old Joe Thornton is. They'll come up with something, Adam. They always do.
What's kind of funny is like, I thought you were going to go with, and they should have kept Marlowe because they wouldn't have had to trade the first. I thought you already had a vet. We'll talk about him because he's a former Leaf. If Patrick Marlowe plays 45 games this year, he will break Gordie Howe's record for the most NHL games ever played.
Wow. You know, it'd really suck if they only had a 41 game season.
Oh my gosh.
Or if they play 44 and for the 45th game they fire Bob Boozer, bring in Mike Babcock. He's like, nope.
We all love Mike Badano.
I'm not playing you the rest of the season. No, Mike Babcock. I don't know what to think about him. But.
Neither do I. Okay, that's all for the main Leaf stuff. Now we have the other notable signings around the league. Then we will look at who is still available. We'll start with former Leaf. We've been teasing it since 7 o'clock our time. Sorry, the lighting's crap. Like my ceiling fan, it's broken, so the fan goes to the audio gets messed up. So I have a lamp.
That's
you
okay.
Can kind of see it behind me. Let me move over.
When we started this episode, I was using sunlight.
It was light. There was light outside. Yeah. Daniel and his scrambled eggs.
Yes.
So, Tyson Barrie has talked about when he left Toronto not that long ago about how harsh the media was.
So harsh, yeah.
So I want you to imagine.
Okay, I'm going to close my eyes for this.
That you're a Boston Red Sox, and you don't like the media. You think it's too hard to play. So you go to the New York Yankees. You don't like playing for Tottenham because there's too much attention. So you go to like Barcelona. Does that make sense for soccer? I don't know.
I don't think so. But
you don't like the attention for Dallas for the Cowboys. So you go to the Patriots.
Ooh.
So Tyson Barrie.
These are some great references.
I'm trying, people. You don't like the harsh expectation of Mercedes, so you go to Aston Martin, Red Bull Racing, and Christian.
As a second driver.
And as the second driver under Helmut Marko. Okay?
Okay, we get it.
So Tyson Barrie is complaining about the Toronto media. So he signs in Edmonton 1 year, $3.75 million for Tyson. We'll get to Mike Smith in a second.
Wait,
I don't.
is that everything? Can I open my eyes?
Yes, you can open your eyes.
Okay.
I don't hate the signing for Edmonton, to be honest with you.
I do.
Like, this is going to help Tyson Barrie pad his stats.
Yeah.
But my dear God, what is he thinking?
I mean, he did walk back his comments in the same interview, which I'm like, come on, man, just take the comments, eat them up. Don't walk them back. But whatever. Like, yes, the media is tough. It's just a reality. But have you looked in Edmonton? Like, have you ever looked in Edmonton?
Look at the replies of a game between the Leafs and the Oilers.
Yeah.
I'd argue that the media is okay. I think they're on par. And I think the only reason it's harsher here is because there's like 3 times the reporters reporting on the Leafs here.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there in Edmonton? The Edmonton football team?
They haven't changed it yet, have they?
I don't know what they
Not
did.
yet, I think.
God damn it!
I don't know.
I mean, is there? Yeah.
I think they have a soccer team. I think, but that's in like the 2nd Canadian division. I don't really know.
If he turns the puck over once to Matthew Tkachuk,
it's gonna be a nightmare.
Daniel,
Mm-hmm.
what's Tyson thinking?
I don't know. I think he's going to a place where he wants to be the guy again. I think, in a way where not like where he could kind of excel in a way where I think he's going to be given a bit more, not the media, but I think of the freedom aspects of his actual play. But the Edmonton comments, I think, okay, the way I kind of see it is maybe. I don't know. This is going to be a huge stretch, and it's probably not even true. But maybe he knows he could hide behind McDavid and Draisaitl in a way that the media kind of goes to them, and it's a thing where he goes somewhere where maybe he's not going to get as criticized because like Darnell Nurse is going to take up most of the minutes. Adam Larson's going to come back healthy. Oscar Klefbom might be out for the season, but there's still Ethan Bear that will take up some of the minutes. So I think Tyson's in a position where he could play that offensive, defensive, power play type of quarterback again, but they're not gonna have that expectations where they said, you traded Kadri to get this guy, you traded a fan favorite, you traded a high price commodity in an established center to get him, but now he goes on a cheaper deal, and I think maybe that's what he meant, where like the spotlight's not going to be on him the same way, but I know it's still Edmonton.
Here's what I may be thinking, because I believe Elliot Friedman said he took less because I believe it was Vancouver was offering him around 6, but then Friedman made the point of he was going to be the guy behind Hughes. So it's betting on yourself for sure.
I think it's a good bet.
Yeah, because if Adam Larson is gone for a while, which it looks like he will be, then
Klefbom.
Yeah, Oscar Klefbom. Yeah, why did I say Adam? Did I say Adam Klefbom?
Adam Larson, you said.
Oh wow. Okay,
Just love the ad. You love saying Adam. It's okay.
I was almost about to say great name because it was Adam. I'm that self-centered that I will follow the wrong player. Anyway, because if Lars, I almost said it again. Because if Klefbom is gone, and if Barrie is going to be that power play guy, it's McDavid, Leon, Nuge, Yamamoto. Here you go.
Yeah. I think both of you make very good points. It makes a lot of sense for Tyson Barrie. That's the thing. It only makes sense for Tyson Barrie. Yes, he's going to rack up the points and he's going to go get paid next summer. Do you think the Edmonton Oilers are going to pay him? Flat cap. They barely have cap space anyways. Probably not. The thing that, and I said this at the beginning of the year, and they haven't changed it. The thing that this team lacks is proper goaltending, and we're going to get to the goaltending, and the actual defense. What was their downfall against Chicago?
They couldn't stop the puck going in the net.
No.
Kubalik got a 5-point game, didn't he?
Yeah, it was first game, right?
And listen, Tyson Barrie is a good player. I don't think anyone's disputing that. And I think there were people disputing that in Toronto, but they just don't like Kyle Dubas. And that's the fact. He is a good offensive defenseman. When he playing under Sheldon Keefe, he looked very good. Under Mike Babcock, different story. What more offense? Everyone's complaining about Toronto being offense, and then the same people turn and look at Edmonton and say, "Wow, they really needed Tyson Barrie." No, they didn't. They didn't need Tyson Barrie. They need an actual defenseman. And they didn't address their goaltending. So I'm not even like, if they got Markstrom, I would have said, you know what? I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They got Markstrom. That's 10 times better than Smith and Koskinen. But they didn't.
Right. So, apparently this is again from Elliot Friedman, a friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
He said that they were sure they were going to go. They were going to offer him a max 7-year contract. And no, he went to Calgary.
Down the province.
He went to their biggest rival. So, and of course, by then, Talbot went to Minnesota. I guess Grice didn't want to go there. They didn't think it was a good enough option. Holtby was going to Vancouver, even though I don't think he's much of an upgrade anymore, unfortunately. So they had to go back to Mike Smith, and they signed him up for $1.5 million. Man, I want Edmonton to be good. I made an effort to watch more of Edmonton and Connor McDavid last year. And of course, I think we all tried our best to pay attention to the Chicago series.
Yeah.
And he was in Bobby Orr's book. There is a part where Don Cherry says if there was a league above the NHL, that's where Bobby Orr would have played. When I watch Connor McDavid, I think that same thing. That if there was a league above there, Connor McDavid should be playing in the like NHL plus.
Yeah.
And are they going to take that much of a step forward? Yeah, Yamamoto's going to be better, but I mean, yeah, the back end is a whole.
Be honest. Has this team improved?
They haven't moved the dial, I think. They are just treading water.
You gave up
at this point.
Yeah. You gave up 2 second-round picks for Andreas Athanasiou. You couldn't even qualify him. You bring in Kyle Turris.
Okay,
that's a sneaky good move. Good move.
Yeah.
You retain Tyler Ennis, thankfully, I guess. Like, you gave up a 5th-round pick for him. What else? Does Connor McDavid have a winger?
You know what it screams to me? It screams like every offseason Mark Bergevin has had before this one.
So we'll have to wait until next summer then to see the real moves.
Apparently.
I don't know. Like, listen, unless they have some guys who are going to take a next step and be in the NHL, who are either in juniors or who are in the AHL or in Europe. At the moment, this team doesn't look like, other than Kyle Turris, where they have not improved anywhere.
I guess, and I will say one thing for Edmonton, because I feel we are being, I was going to say a bit harsh, but then like with that talent up front, you should be a little more expectation. Well, I think they are assuming that some point soon, it's going to be Evan Bouchard and Philip Broberg. Yeah. Okay, good. Because I had him in GM mode once, and he never grew. Hopefully, he's better in real life.
All right, so I've been trying to trust him based on GM.
Yeah,
mode.
I mean, apparently not. But like, there is something there for the future. It's just if I'm an Oilers fan, I go to bed every night wondering, is this the year where we're so bad that we lose Connor? And he says enough is enough. And that's the question.
How long do you think it will take? It took Anthony Davis 7 years in New Orleans.
Well, think of it. Are Buffalo just going to go out and sign Taylor Hall just for nothing? If Bob McKenzie brings up, there's nothing to it. But with Bob McKenzie comes out in the middle of the night in semi-retirement and talks about how there were Jack Eichel whispers, and there was speculation last summer?
Yeah.
Yeah, last summer. My time is so messed up. That McDavid was going to give them 2 years. If they don't take a step forward again, if I'm Connor and if I'm leading the playoffs still into the first round when we lose in the qualifier, I can't put up with that. I'm the best player in the world, and you only get so many cracks at this thing.
I don't. What do you do? If Connor McDavid comes to you and says, I want to be traded, I don't even know where to start. Like, how do you even look at a package like that?
Oh, I know.
Carl Alsner.
Wait, no. No, of course not.
I'm just joking.
Okay, so you trade him for Jimmy Carson, Martin Gell, and $50 million in cash, and a first-round draft pick for 3 different years. That was the Wayne Gretzky trade, by the way.
I'm still waiting for Martin Gell.
It changed. It literally changed hockey.
Oh, it changed hockey for the better.
Forever.
Where were you guys when the trade broke out?
I was not alive.
What year did that happen, Daniel?
Like 1988?
My brother wasn't born yet, and he's 8 years older than me.
I remember when that happened. I just started at a Polytechnic Institute, now known as Ryerson.
I know you're born in the 90s like us. No, Alex is 2000. I legitimately thought you were serious for a second there.
I watched Back to the Future in theaters.
How was Star Wars when it first came out?
Oh, it was great. We never seen anything like that. It was my kids and I.
When Alderaan gets blown up, apparently that effect was like, oh my god, what the hell is this? Back in the day, it was so
yeah, I remember.
And nowadays it looks like a stock effect. Anyway, I'll tell you a team that's, no, I was going to make some taking stock joke. It doesn't work. Corey Crawford signs in New Jersey, 2 years, $3.9 million per. And I'm going to steal this question because one of you put it on the doc, and I'm too tired to think of anything else. Will these signings finally get the New Jersey Devils back on track?
Good question.
I think that was Daniel. I don't think that was me.
Because I was too hopeful about it. That's why. The way I kind of see it is Corey Crawford goes in. He knows he still could play quite a bit, and he's a mentor now. He mentors Scott Wedgwood. I'm not Scott Wedgwood. Well, they did re-sign him. He mentors Mackenzie Blackwood.
Yeah. Scott Wedgwood.
Well, they're both World Junior guys. We get confused.
Oh my god!
But
it's the bingo card.
What tournament?
The World Juniors. But anyways, fun fact: they're actually both goalies that didn't win, Wedgwood and Blackwood. But anyways, it kind of gives stability to it because you're not using a Keith Kincaid or like a demoralized Corey Schneider anymore.
I'm talking about Keith Kincaid like that.
I'm sorry. But I really kind of feel that gives them stability there, and it's Corey Crawford's a leader. This is what the Devils need. They need a lot more leadership because they have an embarrassment of young guys that I think could take the next step in their careers if they had more direction. And I think to a certain extent they did have that with certain players, not with Taylor Hall. I was thinking they had Andy Green, who I think is a natural leader, but it just didn't make sense to keep him where he is at 37 to say, let's just see where this keeps going. I think trading him to the Islanders was a big move, but getting Corey Crawford, a proven winner, a guy who's determined to want to play, especially how things kind of went with that offer from the Blackhawks, that I think the Devils can do something about it. Like they could ice something of quality this time. Yeah, they made some sneaky, well, maybe they weren't that sneaky, but they made a couple of good moves. Obviously, we talked about before the Andreas Janssen trade.
that'll be an interesting thing. I don't know if you want to get to this now, Adam, because I don't know if you want me to bring it up before about where Janssen fits with this team.
Sure, go ahead. I'll talk about Crawford in a second. I don't mind waiting. I have to take some morphine again, so just
okay.
You talk while I do that.
Sounds good. I'm just gonna. Rachel Dory obviously tweeted about it, saying she thinks that where Janssen fits, she thinks it's with Nico Hischier. There's most definitely a skill difference between Tavares Matthews versus Hischier Hughes, but he could get more opportunities in New Jersey to be a key contributor. So I do think that's definitely the case. I will most definitely take her word for it. They all, yeah, and Ryan Murray. I don't know if I mentioned right. Plus Corey Crawford. So I think they made three. Corey Crawford, being 35, has gone through cup runs. I believe, does he have 3 or 2 of them?
He has 2 of them.
Two.
Yeah. Right. So 2 cup rings. Imagine not just to Mackenzie Blackwood, but to that entire team. Now we know PK Subban's a leader, but unfortunately PK doesn't have the same experience that Corey Crawford has. Like, I think we just have to be frank here.
The furthest he went was, well, he went to a cup final, but unfortunately they never got over the hump. I was going to say 2014 with the Habs, and I'm like, oh wait, he went further with the Preds.
No,
but you're right. But I just think Corey Crawford has that extra edge over PK Subban. Ryan Murray has had his injury troubles. Hopefully in New Jersey he'll be completely new. I think he's a top four guy, and I think he kind of fits in with Subban, Severson, and Butcher. And Janssen fits in that it's decor. It's in that forward core, a young guy. He's only 20. He's 25. Sorry, he's gonna turn 26 in November. So. Mm-hmm. Still relatively young.
I think it's Hischier, by the way.
What did I say?
Hischier. Yeah.
Hischier?
No, Hischier? It's Hischier, but you say Hischier.
Oh, Hischier.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
And I meant to be thingy, but
no worries. I understand.
What was I gonna say?
Talk about Jack Hughes either.
Yeah, there's a reason why. Do something.
Oh.
I'm sorry. He seems like a nice boy.
I read an article about it in The Athletic where they compared him, Joe Thornton technically had the worst first season. I think Joe Thornton had 9 points.
Oh yeah, it was underwhelming. But I like the moves they've done. The biggest criticism of them last season was they didn't get a goaltender, and now all of a sudden they have a good little tandem.
Yeah.
I forgot about the Murray deal. I won't lie to you. There's been I love free agency, but at the same time, I never remember the whole summer is just kind of going on Cap Friendly and remembering who's where. And this sucks because EA have not yet done their roster update.
So upset.
So Romanov's not a Hab, Toffoli's not a Hab. They gotta do Galley. I want to play GMO with the Habs, but I can't do it yet.
I don't know if Romanov's going to be in the game for a while because
I can hope so.
We can all hope, absolutely, but I don't think until he touches
check
the
it
ice,
as well.
Until he touches NHL ice because he's a European guy. I don't know if they do, he gets put into the game, which sucks. Which I mean, they should have the KHL in the game, but
no. Same with the American players.
It's okay.
But then the colleges are going to steal more money and not give it to the players.
I thought they had. I thought they were starting. They were allowed to do that. Remember, there was a whole thing that NCAA, the football game, is going to come back. Remember that at some point during the pandemic. I don't remember when, but
I think I kind of remember that, but I didn't see Cole Caulfield when I started it up. Okay, where the frick are? Okay, this is a really, really nice piece of business for the Dallas Stars. They signed Radek Faksa, one of those underrated Selke guys, for a 5-year deal, only $3.25 million per.
Hometown discount.
So, did Godobin get more money? Term obviously less, but did Godobin get 3.5?
I think he got 3.3.
For a third-line center in Selke considerations.
Is he a third-line center?
I think he normally is, yeah.
Who's their
Was
second
it-
line center?
Because Rupe Hintz is what usually first. Then
Well,
like
no,
Sagan was
Oh,
off center,
I
right?
keep getting confused. I got confused with Radek Faxa and Rupe Hintz.
Yeah.
My bad.
Nice deal.
Yeah,
We like him.
I do. I do think for a third line center with his ability, it complements the team very well.
I do wonder, because he was hurt, if that affected this negotiation at all. I do question that. Because I remember always feeling like, where the hell is Radek? Oh, yeah, he's hurt.
Yeah.
And also,
It's
they
like
still have
half the Dallas team. That's like been the story.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly.
People didn't really talk. I don't think we really mentioned it. I think Alex, you may have brought it up afterwards. Probably episode with Mike, but so much happens on those. Can anyone really remember, to be honest? And they still have to re-sign Dennis Gurianov. It sucks that this is the first time we could really an offer sheet would make sense, but everyone is cash poor. And it's like,
It's crazy.
yeah. And the Sens still haven't hit the floor.
And they're not going to. They're going to hit the floor barely. So they have $5 million now because I think they signed Nick Paul earlier today.
Yes. Yeah.
They only have. Listen, I bet Connor Brown and Chris Tierney bring them to the cap floor. They re-sign Rudolph Balcers, and they're done for the year.
Oh, sure, that sounds right. This one really hurts, but with the moves that Habs make, it's almost they didn't target this guy because I like the other players kind of more. But the reason this sucks is the Boston Bruins get Craig Smith, the man who has my heart. 3 years, $3.1 million per. And Pete Blackburn complimented his hair, and I said, I've been doing that for 4 years. I just want to say. He is a middle six winger who has, he's produced 20-odd goals in that position. And what's really annoying is it's a good thing that the Habs were not interested in this, because apparently Patrice Bergeron was big in getting him in. Because if the Habs were interested and they didn't say, hey, so Shea Weber, you know the team you used to be a captain of? You know how Craig Smith was on that team? Give him a call. But, man, I hate it. I hate it so much. Because maybe if there's a stretch, if Andre Kasha isn't, because he still hasn't scored in a Bruins uniform, maybe you try Craig Smith there. Like, I think he's a type of Bruin player, Daniel. He's physical. He's big. He's handsome.
Just like to point out that Andre Kasha trade, I think the Ducks won that trade because Jacob Perreault fell in the draft.
Listen, I hated that trade from the start. That's one of those few times. That's one of the times that Alex and I got into a bit of an argument because I was because I was all about you made good points, second line, the kind of second line scorer they need. But I was all about the guy's never healthy, but then he's been healthy, but he hasn't scored, so it's not really fair. But
then there was the whole COVID incident and
yeah. So I definitely I hope he does well. But I remember Andre Kosh. And again, he's a Bruin. You never want him to kind of get better because we don't need that in our life.
I'm curious. They still have. I'm just pulling up their cap here. I don't know how much they have. 10.3. They still have to re-sign Jake DeBrusk and Matt Grzelcyk, and they have to fix their left side.
Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Jake DeBrusk is going the other way.
I mean, I'd hate that deal.
Velo Nikin. I forgot how to say
Uko Vakanainen.
Yes, they could call him up.
Listen, I don't.
It's the Bruins' fault. They could have gotten Torrey Krug done. That's 100% on them.
If they go out and get OEL, I won't get over the fact they let Torrey Krug go.
Yeah.
Because that's $2 million extra dollars. $2 million.
Especially if the rest does have to go the other way.
Right.
Daniel, Craig Smith.
I'm sorry, Adam.
Thank you.
It's okay. I felt like that with Andre Kasha as well, so we both have our guys there. I don't know if Alex is going to have his guy there. You have your guy there, Alex?
Well, I don't think Par Lindholm's a Bruin anymore, so...
Okay.
So
no, he is.
He is.
Greg McKegg is now a Bruin as well, signed this afternoon, so I do have my guys there.
We understand.
I'm just going to get up. We all made predictions based on who we think our respected teams could get. I predicted Josh Anderson for the Habs. He got it, and TJ Brody. Daniel, you said Wayne Simmons. You also said Tyler Toffoli, so you got 2 right. Alex, unfortunately, so far you did get TJ Brody.
I didn't say Wayne Simmons.
You do not have Wayne Simmons here.
Who else did I have by curiosity?
Grabner, Gudis, Hamonic, and Brody, and then for the Habs you had Hall, Smith, Hoffman, Gossesbear.
Oh.
There's still time. They could get Grabner.
Yeah.
Is Grabner still out there?
He's still out there. Yeah. Mikael Granlund is still out there.
That's true.
Yeah. Okay. We're getting to the
Yes, of course. Sorry, I'm just too excited.
We got a couple more.
Kevin LeBanc. Whoever put this in said it very well.
I did.
Deal. Good job, Alex. Slides under the radar, as Alex said here. 4-year deal, 4.724 is the AAV. I thought that if they did go through with their promise, that it was going to be maybe a little more in the 5 range. And I don't think it's a terrible bet to make with Kevin LeBanc because your shot just doesn't go away unless you're Claude Giroux with a massive wrist injury.
Listen, I don't know if it was necessarily his shot. Like I'm looking here in 70 games, he had 33 points. He was 3 goals away from what he had last year. I don't know if it was his shot. I don't know if it was the team. I can guarantee you the team around him did not help. But I just don't think he was as good this year. And that's why the contract is not what we all expected it to be.
Hey.
My opinion.
Yeah. Daniel, will you ever complain about making 16, 17, 18 million dollars in your life? Daniel?
Probably not.
I hope not. You're more humble than that.
No, thanks. What I kind of felt is I really thought he tanked himself, to be honest, the way this year went. I didn't think they were still going to commit this money to him or this term. I think he really kind of botched the loyalty prove me deal. Not because he's a bad player, but it just the way the season went and how the production went drastically down for him. But I think the Sharks, they're in that weird upswing where I don't think they're like the Wild in any regard, in like the same regard, but they're a team that they cannot afford to tear anything down. They have to keep going. They have to kind of keep the talent they have, and they're going to have to say, like, we have to look beyond the fact that, we gave away they gave away Tim Stützle, basically. And they have to look beyond that and say, we could still win with Erik Karlsson. We could still win with Brent Burns. We can still win with Logan Couture.
I love how you said they're not Minnesota, which is basically you saying they're not the most mediocre team in NHL history.
I think the Sharks, they're a bit more calculated than what the Wild are. I think I'd like the Wild. I like that they have the guys they have there, but at the same time, like, it's just, you just don't know what they are or what they're really doing. We're like, we want to get younger, but let's trade Luke Kunin.
Yeah, man, not today because we're exhausted, but I want to have a look at Minnesota's roster because there's been a lot of turnover there at some point. Could one of you just write that down in the doc really quickly? Because I closed it and I have my notes.
Okay.
But a very sneaky move that I quite like. Erik Gustafsson is the defenseman that Alex and I have talked about at length on this podcast before. I had him in NHL 20, and he won multiple Norris trophies for me.
Oh.
I loved him. For the Quebec, was it my Quebec team? The expansion? I don't know.
What was your team name?
I think I made it the Quebec Nordiques because I'm not going to get Quebec and be like the Quebec Grizzly Bears. I would never do that.
What about Alex's? I think we've talked about this before. It made me laugh.
I'm pretty sure. What was mine?
Your created team.
I don't remember. Maybe it was like the Markham Knights or whatever. I don't know. All
right.
Or the Seattle Kraken or whatever.
You guys remember mine?
What no, I remember you had the Phoenix Sun. No, no.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was something weird.
The Von Mighty Roosters.
Oh.
How did that go?
That's fun.
Pretty poorly. We're off topic here. I got Robin Leonard and Josh Manson. They didn't protect him, the Ducks, for some reason. And Matt Duchene. I got Matt Duchene in it because he was left exposed. But the problem was because the team was really bad for the first 2 years and he demanded a trade.
Man, turn morale off. It's so garbage. Like do that. It doesn't. It's terrible.
Yeah.
You know what? In NHL like 18, or the first time there was created team expansion. I remember I made it was something weird. It was like the Seattle Wizards, and I remember in that I got fired from like 2 different teams, and it was complete BS. I did such a good job, but the players didn't perform for me.
Unbelievable.
Sorry.
Eric Gustafson, 1 year, $3 million. Eric Gustafson, Philadelphia. One of you considered it a Petrangelo consolation prize.
Oh, I did.
You know what's weird, Alex? Now that you reminded me of something here. They were apparently secretly kind of in the Line A stuff. That didn't happen.
Yeah.
There were whispers in Petrangelo. Make a freaking move, Philly. I thought their GM was supposed to be this like, oh, I'm going to do big moves. Oh, look at me, big moves. And he hasn't done anything.
Trust the process.
Yeah, trust the process.
I was told there would be trades, and there have been none. None.
Well, there were some. They were just all cap dumps.
What do we think?
No, I think it's a good piece of business for the team. I'm just pulling up here. Their defensive pairings. It doesn't even have Shane Gostisbehere in the lineup on daily faceoff, which is so upsetting. Has him with Travis Sanheim, obviously Provorov and Myers as their first pair. I like it, man. Like it's a solid top 4.
Daniel.
I think with Philly, it's a solid signing. He's the kind of guy where, if we've talked about before, I think Chicago sold him way too early. That he could have been a guy that maybe not of their future, but is someone that could actually, he's not old, so he's someone that could kind of slide in there and satisfy Taves in a way more than Ali Mata or a Calvin DeHaan in a way. But I think going to Philly, that he's gonna be able to quarterback the power play. He's the kind of guy where he was a bit streaky in Calgary. I thought that what he kind of showed with Chicago with the minutes he was given, that he could really show that, and I think he was a bargain for a 3rd-round pick. And to go to Philly on this 1-year deal was kind of confusing to me, because I think he could have gotten more with that, or he could have looked for term.
All right. Sportsnet put up a post. It was a top 10 sort of thing. And it was basically the top 10 free agents that are still around, still available. I'll go from number 10. Andreas Athanasiou is still available. Sami Vatanen. Anthony Duclair, who is representing himself. Carl Soderberg. Eric Hall of Famer. Ilya Kovalchuk. Travis Hamonic. B. Kyle Granlund. Evgeny Dadonov. And the big name, Mike Hoffman. And I wonder who overpays for one of these guys first, Nashville or Columbus? Because apparently they've been dipping their toe in every pool.
Columbus. No, Nashville, sorry. Because Columbus has to get Dubois done. They're not doing anything until that's done.
Granlund does play center, and they like overpaying centers.
Mm-hmm.
You think they're going to bring him back?
Oh, yeah!
I don't think so.
No.
I forgot about that.
You know who else is a free agent? And, no one's talking about him. And, it's really disappointing.
Cody Ceci?
Frederick Gauthier is a bloody UFA, and no one's talking about him.
Yeah, because he's not good.
He signs with the Marlies. It's the AHL contract. I can see that happen.
Is Frank Corrado unrestricted as well?
Where is that guy?
I don't know.
One of those guys where they should have played him. Same thing as the Josh Levo.
Yeah.
Oh, he had bad luck because he ran into Mike Babcock at the prime of his developmental career, or like his prime development time as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot of good guys out there who should be signed soon. I don't. Corey, I wouldn't mind Corey Perry on my team.
No. I don't want to deal with that guy 4 times a year. No.
Well, if there's a Canadian division, it's gonna be more than 4 times a year.
I think Corey Perry on the Habs.
Could you
Stop
if
it.
there is a Canadian division, I cannot wait for the games between Toronto and Montreal.
Podcast is gonna be a nightmare.
Yeah. And I can't wait to kick the crap out of the Sens, Detroit, and the Sens in Detroit all year.
Well, Detroit's not in Canada, so I don't know.
Why did I say Detroit? Oh my god!
You meant Buffalo?
I almost said Buffalo, and then there's another American, but
That's
Detroit,
another American team. I don't know. Edmonton. I don't know.
Saskatoon Blades.
Let's not get the CHL involved. They're
I want
having
to
their
play
own
the London
issues.
Knights.
The CHL's having their own issues at the moment. Let's not get them involved.
Are they? They're having a lot of.
Well, the Q is at least.
Yeah.
But no,
Q started out again, right? The Cape Breton Screaming Eagles were playing today.
They suspended. I'm pretty sure they suspended all the games until the 28th.
Yeah, well, like the Q is COVID cases, but the OHL, the CHL as a whole, isn't it getting sued for like exploiting young players?
I think so. That's been kept pretty under wraps somehow. I don't. But it'll come out eventually. I think Dan Carcello is part of that, and we've talked about him before on the podcast.
Yeah, he's trying. He's trying to make change for the game. Okay, I'll just quickly check Twitter.
Don't you have a question? You have a question. I have it here, unless you took it out. Interview period.
Oh God, yeah. Okay, so this is kind of important. If you guys are tired like I am, just like let's put it all together for one last discussion here.
All right.
Okay, this is the first year in a while where we haven't had the interview period that's a week before free agency. There's been drawbacks, there's been positives. Positives is we don't know who's going where like 5 days before free agency. But the con is everything sort of slowed down for a bit. And it just sucks because like nothing was happening the first day. My buddy Ethan, the Sharks fan I was telling you guys about, he was like, Adam. What? No, Ethan McKay, good guy.
Okay. He's
like, Adam, it's gonna suck tomorrow. I'm like, Ethan, it's free agency. He's gonna be wicked. He's like, well, I'll wait for you to come back and I can say I told you so. And after the first day of free agency, I didn't text him because I didn't want to tell him he was right. Do we think it's better to have the interview period?
It creates a lot more anticipation. I think that once it breaks out, we're like, wow, it really did break out.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the same thing what we always said for so many things. It's so circumstantial this year that we're not used to it in this way. Like I know that we love like the July 1st stuff. We love like, the speculation with things like who's going to sign, when these things are going to go on, because, I frankly think that a lot of things have happened without the interview period, but I don't know. I think maybe it will affect things a little more in a way that what they kind of compared to like on 31 Thoughts was the amount of money that's been given to these players without the interview period, that they have seen a lot more depth signings, and we didn't like, I think, was it Elliot Freeman talked about how the average amount of money has gone more to goalies than like defensemen for like the first time.
That's interesting.
I'm seeing yeah, go ahead, Alex.
No, I was just gonna say, I think, I do think, and I think in the new CBA that they came out with back in May, was it May or June, that I don't think we're actually going to be having an interview period. I think they took that out, which is unfortunate. Like I do think it saves a lot of time once free agency starts. Like I don't think we'd be waiting for Krug, Hall, and Pietrangelo to sign those contracts at noon at 12:01 p.m. We would know where all three of those guys would have gone on October, whatever that date was.
Mm-hmm. The 9th, I think.
So I think that's what the benefit is. But the negative is, and Adam brought up a good point when we were talking about it. I mean, listen, like we end up finding out where these guys are going to end up signing before it happens, which isn't as fun, but maybe it's better than having to wait. Like what year, and maybe, you can say the pandemic is the reason for it, but never would we see, even the top tier have signed, right? Normal. But the second tier of players, like quite a few of them are still available. And I don't think we'd see that in a regular market, a regular with an interview period, because they're getting all their interviews done. They're thinking about where they're going to sign. Whereas now they have to set up those meetings once free agency hits.
By the way, Petrangelo, idiot, we all knew you were going to Vegas. Did you have to fly in the middle of a pandemic, dude? Really? Come on, Petro.
We love you though, still.
No, we don't.
The golden boy.
No.
I can't wait to watch them in Colorado for years to come. It's going to be great. All right. Daniel, I can tell that you want to do the outro. Okay. Go ahead, buddy.
Well, guys, Alex, Adam, Daniel, this has been fun, guys. Thanks again to all our listeners, our followers, for giving us your time for this really, really long series. What has become a series. It is currently 10:15 p.m. We love all of you, and if you have anything, any suggestions, anything, any reviews, please give us a look on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple, on anywhere. Thank you again to Voice Ed for continuing giving us this platform. You can kind of tell I'm pretty tired from doing this outro, but I will stay enthusiastic with it. We will talk again to you guys soon. Hopefully, with the list we gave for the free agency, there's going to be a bit more signings, a bit more analysis, and I don't know. Maybe we'll do another 3-hour one like this. We don't know, but
Why not?
Stay tuned to see.
Yeah, check out Twitter, Instagram. Make sure you fill out the bingo card, because if you fill it out and send it, we'll give you a shout out on the podcast.
Or there might be another prize we don't know yet.
And there might. Sure. And make sure, if you're not already watching, watch on YouTube.
And my YouTube channel.
And Adam's YouTube channel. Alrighty, guys.
And our NHL 21 stream.
Not yet. We don't have that yet. Maybe. Okay. See you guys.
I'm being hopeful.
Yeah, hopeful. Bye.